Welcome to Mum Abroad's YouTube channel, where I am joined today by Erica Starks. She's a mum of four, an entrepreneur, and an American in Barcelona. Erica is director of DianaHome, a Maresme-based company specialising in home improvements and eco-renovations that consider health, efficiency, and design. Erica works with an international team of professionals experienced in green building, energy efficiency, healthy and sustainable architecture, comprehensive renovation, and interior design. Hi, Erica.
Hi, Jane.
Thanks for joining me today. Sustainability is a word that we hear a lot, Erica, in regard to development and production. But what does it mean exactly in terms of housing, would you say?
Sustainability is one of the words that gets thrown around a lot, and you can give it many different definitions. At the end of the day, what it refers to specifically is the impact that the supplies that you're using and the methods that you're using have on the environment, and basically minimizing that impact. We take it to the next level, which is looking at it more holistically. So it's also looking at energy efficiency, because something can be sustainable and not efficient, and health, which is increasingly important because many energy efficiency measures are actually made out of toxic materials or have secondary consequences. Like wrapping your skin in saran wrap isn't going to be good for your skin. And that's what a lot of energy efficiency measures do, is basically use materials that end up covering up something that needs to breathe.
So if somebody's thinking about doing big renovations, they can be pretty daunting. How exactly do you know where to start?
Well, what we do in DianaHome is we do an initial study of the home. So it basically gives homeowners and buyers also, so people who are interested in purchasing a home, it gives them a snapshot of the actual state of the conditions of the house. The team goes with different tools in order to measure air quality, to find thermal bridges with a special kind of a thermographic camera. And they use their years of expertise also for simple things like how do things smell, or how does the light work, or what are the basic structural issues that they might find, looking for different kinds of dampness, mold, and also analyzing the space of the house itself and its relationship to the outside. So for example, the garden, if there's a pool, looking at all of these different elements holistically, and getting to know the client also, so that we give them a report of the house that takes into account their needs and usage. And that also includes an estimation of the renovation costs, the subsidies that could be provided, because there's more and more subsidies with the renovation wave. But that requires a tetrix of management. And also showing them the different energy classifications, the savings, basically running a simulation, but that's a light version. It's an introductory document, so that people understand more or less what's the potential of the home, what are the real problems, and which ones are going to impact their health and which one are going to impact their consumption. And then also, in the case of people who are interested in purchasing a home, understanding what's the real value of this home and how much is your renovation going to cost, because renovations are quite expensive in reality.
So after an initial house study, let's assume that a client wants to go ahead and make their home as sustainable as possible. I guess that energy efficiency would be one of the first things that you look at. So what type of things can impede energy efficiency, and what kind of changes would need to be made?
Generally speaking, the what they call the envelope of the house, so the external walls, solar protection, where we are in Spain, is a huge. Generally speaking, the further away from the house you implement a measure, the more protection it's going to give in terms of keeping you cold in this or cool in the summer and warm in the winter. So starting from the outside inside, it's solar protection, then it's the walls of the house themselves, it's the carpentry, the windows, the doors, the glass that's used. It's very common here also to have blinds that lower and raise automatically. That means that the area above where the blinds are kept when they're raised up, those are extremely common areas for losing energy. You can also insulate the insides of interior walls. And basically what you do is those are the passive measures. So the things that don't move or that are kind of fixed are what you consider passive measures, and those have the largest impact on your energy efficiency. And once you've looked at that, then you start going to the level of installations. So if you use, here it's very common to use aerothermia or solar panels. You can use solar panels for heating water or for electricity or both. It's a whole world depending on how far down the rabbit hole you want to go, and if you're looking for a net zero building, or if you're happy just to have a better classification than what you have right now. We look at all of it, and what we do is we offer clients options so that they can make their decision based on their needs and their budget and their timing also.
So how can you guarantee that the renovations that you suggest will make a difference in terms of energy efficiency?
So one of the things that our team does, which is not as common in Spain, but is absolutely necessary when you're really looking to improve energy efficiency and health, is that we work in BEAM, which is basically digital building modeling. And so the first thing that we do once somebody's had the initial study and they decide that they want to engage with us to do their home renovation, the first thing that we do is take a 3D scan of the house. And then we basically pull that up into a digital model that our engineer applies different measures to, and she can actually simulate at any time of year and at any date the consumption of the house based on its current inhabitants or its predicted or projected inhabitants, and based on the different measures that are included. And that's actually critical, because then when you want to get subsidies, you have to prove that you've made this energy classification change. Otherwise, you won't receive your subsidy. So the fact that we work digitally makes it basically guaranteed that the energy classification change that the client decides that they want, that is going to be achieved absolutely with the interventions that are applied.
You mentioned a moment ago about subsidies that are available. Where's the best place for people to start looking for subsidies?
Right now, there is no best place to start looking for subsidies. It's a little bit of the Wild West, and you combine that with the fact that everybody wants to be involved in it, and that it's quite complex, because as I said, it's not just a question of can you apply, but you have to, it's a Tetris of understanding which different kinds of measures are, and the combination of the measures, what they're going to provide you in terms of savings, what the cost is going to be, the percentage of it that's going to be subsidized. Apart from knowing the whole administrative and paperwork and bureaucratic process of what you have to do to get it, just understanding and calculating takes, it literally takes for us multiple people on the team who are experts in this area. So for a regular person like myself, because I'm not an engineer or an architect, it's quite daunting. Also because you don't, the main issue that you would run into is that, again, you can't guarantee that you're going to have that classification change. So you can get your house certified and you can have a letter applied to it, and then you can decide on the measures that you want to do, and you can implement them. But that doesn't guarantee that you're actually going to comply with what the subsidies require.
Is it a service that you offer as part of a package to help clients with the administrative process?
Yes. When clients do an eco-renovation with us, we have an initial analysis of what subsidies can be applied, and then we offer the service of managing that entire process up through until the funds arrive in the client's bank account.
As I mentioned at the beginning, DianaHome is based in the Maresme coast. That's just north of Barcelona. Your workspace is a beautiful Californian style house that's nestled in the vineyards. You really have a very, very special location. Why did you choose it? And how far afield do you offer your services?
So we offer our services to all of Catalonia, and then we offer also services in the rest of Spain, depending on the size of the project and depending on the client's needs. So anything that's done digitally, which is the vast majority of our work, we can do that from Alella. However, there's an actual physical part of a renovation that we would organize with other professionals that are from the zone, because Spain has large geographic differences. So you cannot take one professional from one area and just transplant them. We chose the house because we launched DianaHome in the very early stages of the pandemic. And in Barcelona, we thought that our target market is more in individual family homes or in kind of upstanding or upscale apartment buildings. And the Maresme has a lot of houses and of buildings that require renovations that meet kind of our criteria in terms of where the eco renovation is right now, which is not say it's not just painting a couple of walls. It actually requires a real investment of time and money in order to achieve an energy classification change in a home. And we love the place, and it's beautiful. It's a wonderful place to go work from. And more than anything, for our clients and for the professionals that we work with, they can actually see and experiment what an eco renovation is. So when we entered the house, it was energy classification E. And within 2 months of applying some pretty basic interventions, we arrived at B. And if we want to do a couple more that are not quite as basic, then we could be a net zero. And so that's the goal in the next few years.
I have to say that I have seen the location myself, and I recommend anybody that's thinking about doing renovations to their home, if you're in the area, to go and pay it a visit, because it really is quite stunning.
Thank
So
you.
Erica, that just leaves me to say thank you very much for joining me today. I'm going to put your website address at the bottom. That's www.dianahome.com. People can take a look there at the website to find your contact details and also to find out more about the services that you